Welcome to an exploration of one of the most fundamental and powerful concepts in economics, comparative advantage. This principle is a cornerstone of modern economic thought, explaining why nations, businesses, and even individuals achieve greater economic success. It reveals how specialization and trade can lead to prosperity for all involved. Comparative advantage highlights the immense benefits of trade and collaboration, both domestically and internationally. It demonstrates that focusing on what you do relatively best, and then trading with others, unlocks greater overall wealth. This concept is particularly insightful because it applies even when one party appears to be more efficient at producing everything. Understanding comparative advantage helps us grasp the intricate web of global trade and the rationale behind economic policies. It provides a robust framework for analyzing why certain countries excel in specific industries. Ultimately, it underscores the power of working together to achieve more than we ever could alone. At the heart of comparative advantage lies a crucial economic idea: opportunity cost. This concept is central to understanding how specialization creates mutual benefits. Without a clear grasp of opportunity cost, comparative advantage remains elusive. Opportunity cost is defined as the value of the next best alternative that must be foregone when making a choice. Every decision we make, whether as individuals, businesses, or nations, involves a trade-off. When you choose one option, you inherently give up the benefits of the next best alternative. For example, if a country decides to produce more wheat, it must divert resources that could have been used to produce cloth. The amount of cloth it could have produced with those same resources represents the opportunity cost of producing the additional wheat. This concept is vital for economic decision-making. Comparative advantage is precisely defined by this idea of opportunity cost. A party, whether an individual, firm, or country, has a comparative advantage in producing a good or service if it can produce that good or service at a lower opportunity cost than others. This means giving up less of something else to produce it. It is not about being absolutely better at something, but rather about being relatively better. It is about what you sacrifice to produce a good compared to what others sacrifice. This distinction is critical for understanding the gains from trade. To truly grasp comparative advantage, let us consider a classic illustrative example involving two hypothetical countries, country A and country B. We will also focus on the production of two goods, wheat and cloth. This simple scenario allows us to clearly see the mechanics at play. Imagine that country A and country B each have a fixed amount of resources, say, 100 units of labor. Let's assume that with these resources, country A can produce either 100 units of wheat or 50 units of cloth in a given period. This means country A is quite productive. Country B, on the other hand, is less efficient overall. With its 100 units of labor, country B can produce either 20 units of wheat or 40 units of cloth. These production figures highlight a significant difference in productivity between the two nations. Now, let's look at absolute advantage. Country A can produce 100 units of wheat compared to country B's 20 units. Country A can also produce 50 units of cloth compared to country B's 40 units. Therefore, country A produces both goods more efficiently, using fewer resources per unit than country B. In economic terms, country A has an absolute advantage in the production of both wheat and cloth. It is simply better at producing everything. This might lead one to believe that country A has no reason to trade with country B, as it is superior in all aspects. However, this is where the power of comparative advantage truly shines. Even if country A is better at producing both goods, both countries can still benefit significantly from trade. The key lies in understanding their respective opportunity costs. Let's calculate the opportunity costs for each country. For country A, to produce 100 units of wheat, it gives up the opportunity to produce 50 units of cloth. So, the opportunity cost of 1 unit of wheat is 0.5 units of cloth, 50 cloth/100 wheat. Conversely, to produce 50 units of cloth, country A gives up 100 units of wheat. Thus, the opportunity cost of 1 unit of cloth is 2 units of wheat, 100 wheat/50 cloth. Now, for country B. To produce 20 units of wheat, it gives up 40 units of cloth. So, the opportunity cost of 1 unit of wheat is 2 units of cloth, 40 cloth/20 wheat. To produce 40 units of cloth, country B gives up 20 units of wheat. Therefore, the opportunity cost of 1 unit of cloth is 0.5 units of wheat, 20 wheat/40 cloth. By comparing these opportunity costs, we can identify each country's comparative advantage. Country A's opportunity cost for wheat is 0.5 units of cloth, which is lower than country B's opportunity cost of 2 units of cloth for wheat. This means country A has a comparative advantage in wheat production. It gives up less cloth to produce wheat. Country B's opportunity cost for cloth is 0.5 units of wheat, which is lower than country A's opportunity cost of 2 units of wheat for cloth. Therefore, country B has a comparative advantage in cloth production. Even though country B is less efficient overall, it is relatively better at producing cloth because it gives up less wheat to do so. Based on these comparative advantages, the optimal strategy for both countries is specialization and trade. Country A should specialize entirely in wheat production, focusing all its resources on what it does relatively best. Country B should specialize entirely in cloth production, concentrating on its comparative advantage. If country A specializes, it can produce 100 units of wheat and 0 units of cloth. If country B specializes, it can produce 40 units of cloth and 0 units of wheat. Without trade, country A might produce, for example, 50 wheat and 25 cloth, and country B might produce 10 wheat and 20 cloth. Now, let's consider the benefits of trade. Country A, having specialized in wheat, will have a surplus of wheat. Country B, having specialized in cloth, will have a surplus of cloth. They can then trade with each other at a mutually beneficial exchange rate. For instance, if they agree to trade at a rate of 1 unit of wheat for 1 unit of cloth, both countries gain. Country A could trade 30 units of wheat to country B for 30 units of cloth. Country A would then have 70 units of wheat and 30 units of cloth. Country B would have 30 units of wheat and 10 units of cloth. Let's compare this to their production without specialization and trade. If country A produced 50 wheat and 25 cloth, and country B produced 10 wheat and 20 cloth, their combined total would be 60 wheat and 45 cloth. With specialization and trade, their combined total is 100 wheat and 40 cloth, which is then distributed. The outcomes of specialization and trade are clear and beneficial for both. Both countries consume more of both goods than they could have produced on their own without trade. This leads to increased overall production in the global economy. Furthermore, it results in increased overall consumption for both trading partners. Each country can enjoy a bundle of goods that was previously unattainable. This demonstrates how specialization based on comparative advantage leads to greater efficiency and a higher standard of living for everyone involved. The principle of comparative advantage is not limited to international trade between countries. Its profound insights extend far beyond national borders, applying to various levels of economic activity. It is a universal concept that explains efficiency and productivity gains. This principle applies equally to individuals. Each person has unique skills and abilities, leading to different opportunity costs for various tasks. By focusing on what they do relatively best, individuals can maximize their productivity and well-being. Comparative advantage also applies to businesses. Companies often specialize in producing certain goods or services where they have a lower opportunity cost. This allows them to be more competitive and efficient in the market. Outsourcing certain functions is a direct application of this principle. Moreover, regions within a country often specialize based on their comparative advantages. One region might be ideal for agriculture due to fertile land, while another might excel in manufacturing due to a skilled labor force. This regional specialization benefits the entire nation. Consider the example of a highly skilled surgeon. This surgeon is exceptionally efficient and meticulous, perhaps even better at cleaning their own house than any professional cleaner. In this scenario, the surgeon has an absolute advantage in house cleaning. However, the opportunity cost for the surgeon to clean their own house is incredibly high. Every hour spent cleaning is an hour not spent performing life-saving surgery, which commands a very high income. The value of that lost surgical income far outweighs the cost of hiring a cleaner. Therefore, the surgeon is better off focusing on surgery, where they have a clear comparative advantage. They can use their substantial earnings from surgery to pay for professional cleaning services. This allows both the surgeon and the cleaner to benefit, as each specializes in their respective area of lower opportunity cost. The surgeon gains more free time or more income, and the cleaner gains employment. This simple example illustrates how comparative advantage drives efficient allocation of resources and labor, even when one party is superior in all tasks. It is about maximizing overall output and welfare. In summary, comparative advantage stands as a fundamental principle driving economic growth and prosperity. It is a powerful concept that explains why specialization and trade are not just beneficial, but essential for maximizing global output and improving living standards. This principle demonstrates that economic prosperity is achieved by focusing on what we do relatively best. By identifying areas of lower opportunity cost, individuals, businesses, and nations can concentrate their resources where they are most productive. This leads to greater efficiency across the board. Furthermore, comparative advantage highlights the critical role of trading with others. Once specialized, parties can exchange their surplus goods or services for those produced by others. This exchange allows everyone to consume a wider variety of goods and services than they could produce alone. The result of this specialization and trade is greater efficiency in resource allocation. It leads to significantly greater productivity, as resources are channeled into their most effective uses. Ultimately, this translates directly into a higher standard of living for all participants in the global economy. Comparative advantage profoundly underscores the importance of open markets. When markets are open, goods and services can flow freely, allowing specialization to flourish and trade to occur unimpeded. This fosters competition and innovation. It also emphasizes the immense benefits of international trade. By allowing countries to specialize and exchange goods, global trade increases overall wealth and fosters economic interdependence. This interdependence can also promote peace and cooperation. Finally, comparative advantage highlights the inherent benefits of collaboration in a globalized world. It teaches us that even if one entity is superior in every aspect, there are still gains to be made by working together. This principle is a testament to the power of cooperation and mutual benefit in economics.